So a couple of days ago, I was so happy that I couldn't sleep. And this reminded me of the deep inner peace that every single one of us can tap into, and that is beneath any happiness and any unhappiness we can experience as being human. And then while I was lying awake there, this analogy of honey and olives came to me, and I want to share that with you. But before we get into that, I want to introduce myself. I'm Johanna, and I'm just allowing the flow of life to express for me. And I'm building a community of really lovely, conscious souls on here. So if you want to introduce yourself in the comments below, feel free. All right. So I was awake very late at night, and I was just experiencing so much happiness, so much joy, so much fun, so much excitement. And I was really going deep into how that feels in my body, right? Which thoughts are there? Because now, a couple of days later, suddenly I experience maybe not exactly the opposite yet, but not this intense, happy emotion anymore. And for me, that is just the natural flow of life, right? That's what what in Buddhism is taught for like centuries, that life is always changing. The only constant in this life is change. And that is also the case with our emotions. We can be super happy, or we can even say we're experiencing a lot of happiness, right? And then we can experience the other side of the coin, being super unhappy. And we have been conditioned so much, or like it's very ingrained in us that we're always chasing just the happiness. We believe something is wrong with us if we're unhappy, experiencing unhappiness. And we try to somehow get ourselves out of this state and into the happiness again, right? And kind of positive think our way into it, suppress our emotions in some shape or form, but just somehow you get to the point of being happy again. And that is fine. I feel like it's so deeply wired inside of us. But we are always looking for the high. And there's always coming the low again as well. When there's a high, there is also a low. It's like night and day. It's like the seasons, summer, winter, spring, and autumn, right? It's how this life, how this world works. It is duality. It comes always with both sides. And we suffer when we cling onto the high and we try to suppress the no. When the no, the unhappiness, not the no, the unhappiness. When the low, I said the low, of course. So the low, the unhappiness, when we try to suppress that, right? And we cling onto the happiness or the good emotions, right? In this case, I'm talking about being happy and being unhappy. And there is something deeper than both emotions, than both states. And this state, I would put in the word of peace. It is always available inside of you. Every single moment. Every moment you're at a high, at being super happy, joyous, excited, right? And every moment you're at a low of being unhappy or like kind of unfulfilled or whatever. It is the awareness you are that is making both experiences even possible. And the analogy with the honey and olives that came to me was the highs is the honey. It's the sugar spike, right? It's like the explosion of sweetness on our tongue. And we crave the sweetness, we want the sweetness. And then the olives, the bitterness that very often in this world we're trying to get rid of. I personally do love olives, but let's go with analogy. We don't want the bitterness, we don't want the olives. We don't see so much the preciousness of the experience of olives as much as we see it in the honey. And the presence, the awareness we are is, first of all, you could say, the entry point to that is this sense perception, is that we can taste. That we have a tongue, and with this tongue, we can taste. We can taste the sweetness of the honey in our mouth, and we can taste the bitterness on our tongue as well, right? And then even deeper than that is the awareness, the consciousness that is connected to this body, that is making it even possible that I can perceive the sense perception of my tongue. And this awareness that is inside of you, that is you, that is the eternal in you, it allows both to be there. The highs, the honey, the lows, the bitterness, the happiness, the unhappiness. In fact, only through the awareness, this can even be there. And for me, what I've found is it brings so much peace when I'm kind of like with one foot in the human experience and experiencing the happiness, feeling it in my body, feeling the joy and the excitement, tasting the honey on my tongue, right? Or being in the bitterness and the sadness and being with the sensation in my body, not getting too lost in my mind in the story, right? But really almost devouring the experience of it. And with one foot, so with one foot in here in the human mess, in the human emotions, right? Experiencing them. And with one foot rooting down into the awareness we are, into the consciousness that feels so stable and untouched. That is so untouched by this world and all of the expressions of this world, right? The happiness, the unhappiness. It is so untouched by it. And you can tap into this every single moment. Inside of you, the peace that is beneath and beyond, but at the same time through the highs, the lows, the happiness and the unhappiness. When we go really deeply inside, we connect to this dimension that has always been there. And when we do that, life loses its heaviness. It's not so serious anymore, right? Like I found, of course, a part of me still likes to move towards the happy experiences, right? And is not necessarily doing anything that I feel unhappy, of course. That would be madness. But both of these experiences, happiness and unhappiness, they lose a little bit of their weight. And it's like it feels lighter, being rooted down in the awareness makes the human experience lighter. And maybe you can tap into that inside of you right now. Not by looking for anything. It's not adding something to us. It is by simply becoming aware of the awareness. Becoming aware of our breath. And letting our breath bring us even deeper. And then there is like a sacred dimension that is beneath and through everything of this world. And that does not have an opposite. And it comes with so much peace. So whenever you're super happy or super unhappy, can you remember this peace inside of you? And still let the human emotions, the human experience, the mess be there. Of course, still do the things that make you happy. But remember that there is something deeper. Deeper than the olives, deeper than the honey. And that is the awareness you are. The peace inside of you. Now,